Grace Randolph is facing a major migraine as so many rain on her parade as a Rotten Tomatoes official critic. They say because she walked out of a movie that she had to review and then bragged about it, she should be down and out, cast away, thrown from the Rotten Tomatoes official score. Today we'll tell you whether or not we believe Grace Randolph is done, or maybe she was just having a little fun. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel that continues to challenge the legacy media and the woke authorities who want to ruin all of your entertainment. Today, we're diving into the controversy surrounding the star of the YouTube channel Beyond the Trailer, Grace Randolph. It's a big one. It's trending. It's on X. Will she live to see another day? Well, we'll tell you what we say. Click the like button, drop a comment down below. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here we go. All right, Grace Randolph, we know you're watching and we love you. Okay? We get out of that way. We're not going to be mean to Grace tonight. Grace, of course, is infamous and famous at the same time for running Beyond the Trailer, the YouTube channel. And she's been around for a while. She's got a lot of subscribers. And now she's trending on X. Here's the story. Primate chimp horror hits $11.3 million opening amid critic walkout drama. Now we're going to read a few of these, folks, the top trending posts in this topic. But here's what it says. Saying that a movie was so bad that you turned it off or walked out of the theater is 100% a valid opinion that shouldn't elicit controversy. Reviewing and or submitting a critic score for a film you didn't bother to finish is complete BS and should be treated as such. What are they talking about? Well, Grace Randolph, Beyond the Trailer, in her Rotten Tomatoes review, literally in the review, Grace said, so yeah, I walked out 2/3 into the movie. I just couldn't take it anymore, especially because the movie has so many missed opportunities. The Moonlight Warrior says, critics who walk out of films should have their reviews taken down. If you can't do your job correctly, then you don't deserve to be rewarded. Luis A. Mendez, Luis, says this. I didn't like Primate, but I sat through the whole thing at my screen. What Grace did here could actually get you kicked out of some critics' groups, depending on the rules, if they found out you did something like this. Continuing right along, folks, because there's a lot here. If we go down, Grace is rather colorful in her language here. This is Grace responding to this topic, which is debate erupts over critic who walked out. And it goes on to talk about what she did and posted and boasted about it on Rotten Tomatoes in the official review. Grace says, these hater MFers out here helping me, ha 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 ha. I just posted a review. You made it famous. Interesting. We'll read one more. John Squire says, agreed, critic or not, walk out of any movie you want to walk out of, but you can't review a movie that you didn't finish watching, and it's deeply unfair that any movie's Rotten Tomatoes score can be negatively impacted by a review from someone who didn't finish the movie. All right. I think that, folks, we got it, right? Everybody understands what happened here? Now, the question is, can you really review a movie? Should you review a movie if you've not seen the full movie? And if you didn't watch the full movie, should they take away your credentials? Grace is just the person who's sitting in the lane that we've got to discuss this on. And I'm going to present it this way to you guys. I don't want Grace to lose her credentiality. I don't want her removed from Rotten Tomatoes, okay? I don't want to do that. But let's say that you're reviewing a film like The Sixth Sense, for example, and you walk out 2/3 in. You have no idea what the movie is even about. No spoilers, folks. It's a few decades old, but there are films that if you leave, it can completely change your opinion. You may think the movie's terrible. Thunderbolts is another example, Lauren. You and I think, had the same experience here. I hated the first 2/3 of Thunderbolts. The last third semi-redeemed it, and I gave it an average score. I think you would go a little bit higher. I don't know, Lauren. What happened? What do you think? It's her job. She's paid to do this. What do you think about it?
I'm going to get myself in a lot of trouble here.
Well, how would we not, right?
I'm actually finding myself in a weird position where I'm going to defend Grace Randolph.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defense of Grace Randolph is
alert the media. Call the Guinness Book.
I don't like this because it makes me feel really slimy. This doesn't feel good. I will agree with you that sometimes a movie surprises you at the end. I also think that it's a totally valid thing to have a feel for a movie and know that you just don't like it. Um, and I think in those cases, while I do think that the last third of Thunderbolts was very surprising, it's one of those weird movies that I look at as what happened here? Because the last third, I thought actually was some pretty good writing, but it didn't save the movie for me. Um,
But it took it from like a 3 to a 6
yeah, probably
out of 10.
But I mean, the thing is that look, I think it's weird when we impose on a reviewer the idea that this is a scientific process, and even if you don't like it, you're paid to sit there and watch the whole movie. I think that you as a reviewer can probably tell, look, I'm at the point where I don't want to watch this thing. And I think that's valid. I think that's fair. You're not going to a reviewer to get scientific fact. You're going to a reviewer to get an impression. Should I give my money and time to see this movie? And I don't think there's any better judge of, I wanted to get up and get out of my seat and leave. That gives you a pretty good impression as to whether you thought it was worth your time and money. So it may be that she would consider herself wrong if she watched the whole thing, but that's how she felt in the moment, and I think that's what you go to a reviewer for.
All right, whoa. I'm going to have to disagree, and here's why. I sat through Tron Ares. That's it. That's the whole argument. I had to sit through that thing, man.
Look, if you feel that it's a matter of professional integrity and you have to do that to be legit, then more power to you. But I feel that it is equally valid. It's like, look, if somebody told you you're going to have to sit down in a theater and watch both versions of Santa Claus versus the Ice Cream Bunny again,
I quit.
how you going to feel about that?
Well, wait, you're going to ask, how much are you paying me to do that?
Not necessarily. What if you're doing it for free?
Don't.
What do you think I'm doing? What do you think we're doing with genre guys?
Well, yeah.
Now I would agree that if we
we're renting the movies in some cases for $3.95 or whatever.
If we let Hangry pick every choice, then you're probably right. We'd probably quit. But I think it's a valid thing to say, you know what? I just couldn't get through it. I think that's fine.
I have done this. I have walked out.
As a reviewer or just as a viewer?
Well, as a viewer, but here are two different sides to this. Among my many affiliations, the Directors Guild, we have a matter of ethics, which is if you come to the screenings, when the movie's over, you sit through the complete closing credits before you get out of your button head for your car. It is just a matter of respect for the crew, okay? Not as reviewers, but just as screeners, although you may be voting based on those screenings. But I once went with a friend of mine to see Ingmar Bergman's latest movie at Filmex, the LA Film Festival over in Century City. And about 2/3 of the way through, we both looked at each other and said, there's only so much Nordic doom and gloom we can stand. Let's get out of here. And we got up and we started to walk through the lobby. And a guy I knew from film school was working as a volunteer. And he thought we were just getting up to get a Pepsi and go back in or something. And he looked at us and said, "Oh, are you watching the latest Bergman?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Is it wonderful?" I said, "Well, frankly, I don't think it's one of his best." And he said, "Well, Bergman failing is better than 99% of the other people out there." And that's when I knew I was doing the right thing and kept on walking.
Now, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I'm just looking at this. This is superfluous, I know. But in the thumbnails, her mouth, she has her mouth in a very open smile with her tongue lifted. That is a strange way to do this. Is it? Okay, it's not that way in every thumbnail. Okay, it's back there, though. It's back there. What is going on? Wait a minute.
That's not AI saying, "Show me Grace with her tongue lifted," is it?
Is that her?
No.
Is she repeating the same face over and over? You know what? I just can't.
But here's the thing. How much does her one vote, pro or con, count in the overall ratio of Rotten Tomatoes?
She's not a top critic, I don't think. So all I'm saying
is, out of, what is it, 50, 100, however many people, one person isn't going to sway it one way or the other. So I don't see what they're all so upset about.
Well, and I agree. Let's let grace have some grace. But I will say that as a general rule, if you're a reviewer, if you are so fortunate in this life that you are not down in the ditches, in the cold, in the wet, in the muck, pulling electrical wires or digging through the rocks or the stone, you're not under somebody's crawl space fixing the plumbing, you have the great fortune of your career is sitting your rear in an air-conditioned theater and watching a movie. As a general rule, watch the film and give your review of it. Fake Wizard, what say you?
I'm going to slightly disagree with Lorne. Although I completely empathize with where you guys are coming from with, hey, if she wants to walk out, like, okay.
Well,
fine,
we all just watched Santa Claus versus the Ice Cream Bunny. So there's a feeling here that's...
What I'm saying is sign up Fake Wizard for the formal review.
There's a platform that we're all kind of friends with here, which is criticless.com, where we can leave reviews for movies. And I leave reviews on there. But I make sure that I watch the movies all the way to the end. And then usually if the movies are that bad, it inspires me to trash the film even more because now I feel like I've wasted my time. It actually emboldens me to take the film more serious in how I'm going to criticize it. So if your professional career is... like I do it as a hobby, or maybe because I want to do a YouTube video, or maybe we're going to cover it here on stream or something else. But it is your job to watch this and then give a complete review of it. I actually think as a reviewer, you're not allowed to walk out. If you've gone to the film to do a review of that film, you need to stay for the film, or you have to not publish an official review. You have to be able to say that this is not a complete review, and it should not be counted towards whatever Rotten Tomatoes score or whatever aggregate score it's going for because it's a partial review. Like, I think that's okay. The fact that she didn't...
In-credit scenes. Wiz, do you have to watch the in-credit scenes too? You got to watch Shawarma?
Yes.
Probably, yeah, because Shawarma's part of the movie.
Yep. Okay, I'm with you. I agree. I sat through Tron Ares, and I gave it a 1.5. I mean, it was awful.
Tron Ares... We sat through Snow White last year. I can't imagine what we're going to sit through this year, but Tron was enough. That was depressing.
It was bad.
No,
it was real bad.
If you're professionally paid for this, you should sit through the whole thing, and that should empower your review later on, because you should use your brain and be paying attention to the film.
But Grace should say, I'll do better next time. If I'm watching hot garbage, I'll watch all the hot garbage. Right?
I've seen critics at critic screenings sleeping. Do they count?
You know what? That's a good question. Do you?
Well, I think they could, because in the review it counts as I fell asleep during this turkey, which is also telling you something.
Yeah, if they brag about falling asleep, I think they're in Grace territory.
They don't tell anybody; they just do it.
Right. Her mistake is she bragged about it. So. You snooze, you lose.
But she was full disclosure, telling what actually happened, and saying, if you don't think that makes my review valid, then take it with that grain of salt. Period. I respect her for telling the truth. I really do.
Folks, you tell us. Tell us down below. What do you think about it? Should Grace keep her position with Rotten Tomatoes, the prestigious location of such great reviewed amalgamations as, well, The Last Jedi, or should she keep it? Should she stay? Let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say. You know, it's always sad when one of these video ends, and yet it is the beginning of the wait for the next one to land. 4 times a day right here on the Pro Channel. And by the way, there's plenty more on our partner channels. That Part Place, That Pod Place, That Game Place, and go check out the original music we have on stations like Vacation Radio. We'd love to have you, love to entertain you. At least we'll do a better job than some of the current entertainment companies. Folks, like, share, subscribe, and you know what? Drop a comment right on down below. Share this out anywhere you go on social media. And until the next time, we have the honor, the pleasure of getting to spend time with you when you choose to invite us into your day to add the value that we hope to bring your way. We ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.